welcome to another episode of About Time with Michael. Today I have someone on the show who's as sharp as a price scanner. and probably the most respected SJ I know, bruz.
Yeah, bro.
When he's not fighting crime down the aisles of his supermarket store and stopping people from stealing his porterhouse steaks, he's down at the bend racing a Batmobile or a supercar. Yeah. He comes today with us with wit and with wisdom, and I hear he's the kind of guy you want over your right shoulder when you're about to get into a bar punch-up. So buckle up, because we're in for a ride. JP Drake.
Hey, thank you very much. I'm so excited. It's about time.
It's about time you're here.
I've been invited on this show. Thanks for having me. It's a lovely setup. This is makes my thing look like a budget,
looks
black
right,
and gold effort,
Kojo
to be honest.
Studios, or Kent Smith, thanks. Let's start at the beginning, because I wanted to get you on the show. You're a very interesting character. Everyone talks about you in South Australia. Yeah. 50 years of Drake's, I hear you've just celebrated.
Yeah, April 1st, 50 years ago. It was actually 51 now, but yeah, we just finished the 50 years. So Dad started the business a very long time back there, 50 years. He was actually, just before that, he was in Mount Gambier working for Coles. He just did a stint of 8 years with Coles.
Wow.
And they turned around, well, he asked if he was in Mount Gambier. Have you been to Mount Gambier?
Not for a long time,
It's
mate.
fucking cold in Mount Gambier.
Is it?
Yeah, and he asked for some oil for the heaters for the state, because they all, the team all lived in the one house. And then the senior management just looked at him and said, "See, Roger, with that sort of attitude, you're never going to make it in the retail industry." So he left.
Oh, wow.
And he went and he started his own supermarket, Jack and Jill, 50 years ago.
So that's what it was called, Jack and Jill?
Yeah, Jack and Jill. It was a lady by the name of Thora used to own it, and her husband passed away, and she taught Dad all of his customer service skills. So yeah, it was a big thing. Thank God Coles said that to him, because the rest is history. 50 years later, you know, we now employ about 6,500 people.
You're Australia-wide?
Yeah, we've still got in Queensland and South Australia. I've got a distribution centre now. We're the only independent retailer with a distribution centre. I've got fruit distribution centres, Scoots Fresh, both in Queensland and SA. Meat distribution centres, both in Queensland and SA. And to say that's not a relatively large business from a bloke that left Enfield High in Year 9.
Yeah, wow.
Gillis Plains High, actually. I think it's changed names, but yeah, he left in Year 9. So. And
what about you? What age were you when you decided, hey, I'm not going to be a daredevil anymore and race skateboards and all sorts of stuff and jump into the family business?
Yeah, I was very disappointed.
Because I heard you're a good skater. From a friend that we both know, I heard you're the friggin' man, mate.
I was pretty good. But for me, I was very disappointed Dad didn't support my Formula 1 career.
Okay.
It could have been me racing it in Melbourne for the first event with Oscar Piastri. Sounds good, doesn't it? Yeah. Oscar Piastri, JP. Jack Doohan, JP.
Yeah, it does
I think it had a ring to it, but Dad never was into it. So we're gonna come back to that later, guys. I started working straight off the bat, pretty much. I had 1 week off for schoolies, went to Victor Harbour, had a good time. And then I got into the business I was collecting trolleys. I was with Dad the whole time before that, stealing a lot of lollies, I'll be honest, when I was younger. And Dad didn't used to open Saturday afternoons, so I used to work in the morning and I'd sit and watch football or play football, and then Dad would just be working all the time. So I started working when I was a kid, I could say, my whole life, which is not 50 years, okay? So I know he told me I'd look like Brad Pitt in the studio.
Still in his 40s.
I think Michael might be lying a bit. But I then started working full-time. You know what, I class as being when I started getting paid. Sure. So I started getting paid about 33 years ago now. So yeah, not even that. I was a lot less than that, mate. And then I worked my way up. I literally did every department in the store. Night fuel, and then worked in the fruit and veg, worked in the deli, worked on front end, and then literally worked my way up over time. Could say I had a interesting upbringing. I partied pretty hard, and I worked flat out too at the same time, but sometimes they clashed. Work clashed with partying hard. And I got pretty much in my whole, I'm giving you the real short, we don't want to be here all day, but basically I kind of got demoted, and it was in that period of time that they sent me to the worst store in the business as a lesson, I think, there. And fair enough, it shook me up enough to go, just because my name's on the door doesn't mean I'm entitled to it. And I then thought, okay, I'm going to win. They had this award, the Store Manager of the Year competition. I was like, I'm going to win that. And evidently I did win that.
Oh, good.
And it was an inaugural one too, so it's even better. The trophy sits there, and there is
Do a big presentation.
There is my name. And then my boss, which is my general manager, he goes, yeah, you did category B, which was the smallest. I was like, I don't care, mate, it's still there. Yours isn't, mine is. And then from that was like, okay, I really enjoy retailing, and didn't quite realise how much I enjoyed it, because I probably had a lot of a cloudy head when I was younger. And then I thought, okay, I love dealing with customers. I love the fact that retailing, it's different every day, and the situations are different every day. And evidently I started to just work harder and harder and harder, and and I got better at retailing and more responsible, I would say is probably the right word that I'm looking for there, but just grew up through the business and then started to just progress through the business, did some supervision. But the real thing for me was when I went up to manage the Queensland business, and I went up there for 2 years and stayed for 10 years. And
a long time.
Yeah, it was a fair stint, and that got you out of the shadow of your dad, because my old man casts a pretty big shadow here in South Australia, and to go up to Queensland where you run it yourself or on your own pretty much.
And prove yourself up there.
Yeah. And I think the business was doing about 75 mil, and when I came back was doing about 400 mil, so it was a good learning curve for me. I got to prove, hey, I'm not just a rat bag, part of your boy, and I got to prove that I can actually put it together when I have to.
So you're taking the business in a different direction, we've noticed. Like I watch your podcast too, and I watch some of the stuff you put up.
Yeah.
Can you run me through your thinking of when you pull up these guys that are stealing stuff from you, or because everybody loves it. Like my kids watch it and they just go, check out JP just calling out this random guy shitting, putting stuff in his bag.
Yeah. So basically, for me, it was a problem.
Yeah.
When you say, do I do things a bit different? I think retailing is retailing. And, you get a can of baked beans that comes in the back door, you put it on the shelf, you sell it, and hopefully you make money.
Yeah.
And then for me coming back to South Australia, so I spent 10 years in Queensland, came back, that time that I learnt everything, I came back here with a fresh set of eyes. And the general manager, who's my boss, so Dad's never been my boss, so it's always been the GM. I was an extra set of eyes and ears, and I think that really made the difference. And he sat me down, and when I came back, I realised I wasn't good enough to be the general manager. Like I'm not a detailed person. I'm exactly the same as my dad, which is big picture, get the team on board, go for those big wild goals and get people all to go and to
You're
try.
a leader.
Try and achieve them. Yeah, and I remember sitting down in the office with Bob and Dad, and I just said, look, I'm not your next gen. I'm not the next you, Bob. I'm not good enough for it. And the relief in his face.
You just became best friends.
Like he went, oh thank fuck, I don't have to deal with JP. I think I could see him go, oh, and. He still says, to your credit, you identified that maybe that's not you. And what it did mean, it meant we could really get the business geared up for who that person is. And we've identified that person is coming back here next year to sit side by side with Bob. So, these processes that you take in place, you have to know what you're good at.
Yeah.
And coming back here, social media was pretty new back then. And we started with, I think, we illegally got a Facebook page together, and that was radical. And Bob would go, where's the return on investment on that? It's like literally 5 seconds to do a post. And evidently that grew into a far bigger business, and of dealing with talking with customers, talking with your team members. Like, it was a new way of using the technology to do what I believe my dad's always done, but to use it in a modern way. And coming back, the customer magic, which you're referring to, I was sick to death of people walking into supermarkets and walking out with whatever they wanted. We couldn't call them thieves, but they were thieves. And they came. We said, okay, we call them magicians, and I can't say magicians. Like, my team pulls me up all the time about, well, you're not saying it properly, whatever. You know what I mean? And I wanted to make people aware that this is happening. And we really did. Some of the episodes were on national, we're on Today Show and Sunrise, and all of those things were how we started to use the technology to say, hey, this is a problem. People need to wake up to themselves. And if you see someone walking out of a supermarket without, paying for it, maybe you should
go bottle them.
I could never say do that, but your team gets sick and tired of it
I agree.
in the end.
Yeah,
so we just wanted to use what tools were at our hands to start to say, hey, this is how we do things. And the one thing from that is, the real big pinnacle thing for Drake's was leaving Foodland and starting out as Drake's. So that happened when we built our distribution centre, Edinburgh North. And that was the biggest decision that the business has ever made. And I will say the best decision the big business has ever made too. So once we decided we're going out as Drake, there was no one else to blame. You couldn't blame your warehouse wholesaler. You couldn't blame the other retailer, Banner, Foodland. It was all on you.
Yeah.
And that was a big stepping stone for us because we'd put these pillars into place saying we're going to be, open, honest, transparent. And no one in the supermarket game is open, honest and transparent. We're going to be communicative and tell people, like, this is how we're going to do it. And then what we didn't know, there's something called COVID happens. We get bombarded and evidently our whole life changed and COVID changed things for the better for us.
Yep.
And still to this day, people are purchasing so many more groceries because they're not eating out as much, they're eating at home. So the flow-on effect from that has been humongous. And us just being on the front line, telling people this is how it is, that evidently got people's attention because customers for the first time ever was like, oh, these guys, they're telling us that this is why things are not right and this is why, and we were explaining, and no one had ever done that in the supermarket industry. I don't know about the world, but definitely Australia. And we started setting this benchmark of, okay, if we screw up, we're going to come and let you know we screw up. And we've got, if you look on, there's multiple videos where we've screwed up and we were out there apologising. And it sort of started something where people go, maybe a supermarket can be trusted, because there is the big ugly sisters, the green and red one, that have ruined transparency and honesty and morals. And I could continue to how they have decimated this for the industry. And we all get thrown under the same basket, unfortunately, because we're so large. So
my wife loves shopping at Drake's.
Yeah.
I'll tell you why. You're saying all that. It's also you got customer service. I don't know whether you train the staff differently, but when she goes shopping at one of the other places, it's just ding, ding, and through they go. But at Drake, she says they always have a conversation with her.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, that's important. It's still retail.
This is not a coincidence. It's because we fucking care.
Yeah.
And I think they're the things that people underestimate, that when someone actually is enjoying their job, and they might just do 4 hours a week on that register or whatever it is, if they're actually enjoying it, they're going to showcase a far better attitude towards the consumer, which is the person that pays your wages, which is the person that gives us the ability to, if they're not in the store, we can't have shifts and then people don't have hours. And the flow-on effect is huge. So yeah, absolutely we do. And we're very passionate about our people. Team, they're the most important asset to our business. And you've got to look at the ecosystem that Drake's have with 6,500 people. Then we've got truck drivers, logistics all outside of that. So you're talking about 20,000 people. Then you've got all their friends outside of that, hundreds, thousands of people. And this is a big ecosystem.
Yeah.
And we're very aware of the responsibilities that we have for that whole ecosystem. Because if we make stupid mistakes, then
that filters down.
Well, it's going to come out the cost of the team members on the shop floor.
I mean, you're pretty much self-made. You've done a lot for yourself. I hear there's a company called Citrus that you invested in early on.
Yeah.
Is that something we can talk about?
Yeah, absolutely.
Can you run us by that? Because I think a lot of people know about this situation, but they don't know what it entails and what it even is. So what's Citrus?
So Citrus AD, which is an ad platform, basically. So basically, there was a washed-up footy player, Brad Moran, and I never knew footy players were so smart, Brad. You defy the odds. And he was in a business called No Queue, and it was back in the day, like you could order your coffee before you got there. And I think he was a bit ahead of his time. Evidently, he gets kicked out of his own company. And didn't know Brad, to be honest, and I saw he got kicked out of, they changed their direction and went into online shopping, and I was like, oh, he's been screwed. And I didn't know this guy. I'd met him on one meeting of him trying to sell me something. That's Brad, he's a good salesman. And then I rang him out of the blue. I just said, hey, mate, will you work on anything else? And he goes, give me 6 months. And I was like, okay. So I had a bit of a chat, heard the whole story, heard how he totally got screwed. And then he rang me 6 months later and said, all right, got this. So basically, if you go to Coles or Woolies or Drake's to a smaller extent, but the big online platforms and just supermarkets and type in milk, then the suppliers fight over who's going to be on the top line and the second line, and then they bid on, I want to be first to be clicked, and then if you click that and purchase that, then Citrus gets a cut, the retailer gets a cut, and the supplier gets a cut. So everyone wins because no one is making money on online groceries. So I was like, yeah, I'll put in 200 grand. Didn't have 200 grand, mate. So I went up to Dad and said, oh, Dad.
I owe you.
No, I said, Dad, like I've said I'm going to take 200. Do you want to put 200 in? 100 in. Yeah. And he's like, looked at it and he goes, nah, this will never make money. And I was like, oh, fuck. I've got to come up with another fucking 100 grand. And I went, oh, so I did. I sold some shares and I stumped up to 200K. And evidently, 4 years later, that 200K, we had an exit for 215 mil. So
beautiful, well done. That's fantastic, mate.
So for me, you know that I was, I'm definitely no poor person, but I've worked fucking hard my whole life. So I've always had money because I've always worked a lot, and I was like, okay, so I had this, I had my loans and stuff like that, and then that money there changed my life.
For sure.
So for the first time ever, it was my own.
Yeah.
And yeah, did I do anything for it? No, fuck all. But I invested in Brad. I did go buy a supercar. Yeah. The night before, Brad had rang and he said, oh, have you checked your bank account? And I was looking, there's nothing in there. And he had his money had dropped, and for him it was a lot more than me. And he's a highly strong individual, but I like, how does it feel? And he goes, it doesn't feel like anything different. And I said, oh, it fucking is. It's going to change everything. And he was got a bit emotional actually. It was an interesting conversation. I went home, checked my bank account, it's fucking nothing. So in the morning, I remember it. I went for a run in the morning. I knew something would have happened overnight, I think.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
And then I got my daughter, I said, film this. And then I got to the bank account, opened it up, and I fucking looked at it. I said to her, I'm a fucking millionaire, baby.
I love it. That's so good.
And yeah, she goes, is that good? I said, you fucking better believe it is. And yeah, and I was like, it's this feeling is a feeling that I wish every single person on the planet could feel, and I know they won't, but I distinctly remember I do all right for myself.
Yeah.
And, I understand that. I work hard, I deserve it. And then when I saw the bank account, it felt like every monetary stress I had just vanished.
Yeah.
Like disappeared.
What a feeling.
And if you could bottle that feeling,
yeah.
And I hate people that say really corny things like that, you could sell it for no amount of money, actually. You probably couldn't put a number on it, but it was just the most amazing feeling ever. And I was like, Yeah, and then you had all these stiffs that were in this business. So all the Eastern Seaboard people invested, and you had to then type an email going, oh yeah, money's landed. And I'm like, look at these fucking people. What's fucking wrong with them? Are they boring?
Yeah.
I go, I'm a fucking millionaire.
Yeah, bitch.
Citrus, Fred turned around. He goes, you are fucking unreal.
I love it.
He goes, I fucking love it. So I went to try and work, and I went to I was at Newton, and I was walking around because I knew that there might be some money coming because Brad had talked to me through the process, and then I was like, oh, so I went in there. I knew they had a 720 McLaren sitting in there. I knew it was for sale, and I was pacing around. I saw this in the morning after my run. I was trying to keep it quiet because I couldn't really tell people. Like, it's not something you go around and tell. I tell people if they ask, but it's not something you say. And I was like, oh, I couldn't concentrate. I said, fuck it. So I went straight to Zagami. Bam, I bought a 720 McLaren. I got more money than I've ever had before, and I couldn't get a loan from them.
Do they know who you were? Do they know who you were when you walked in?
And I've been bugging them for ages, right? And Scott from Zagami, he's been real good, lending me cars and stuff. And so I said, oh, I'll lease it. And they wouldn't give me any money. Like, I couldn't get a loan. I said, look, I got more money in my bank account than I've ever had. And didn't matter. In the end, I just paid for it, and I bought it. And it was unreal.
So did you get into motorsports from after that, or were you always in motorsports?
If you ask my wife, I got into motorsport when Layla was born. Which isn't good, but I've always been into go-karting. I've always been into, probably illegal street racing, and when it was cool, when you used to block off the streets and stuff like that, and with a couple of the old car cruisers back in the day, which I reckon you'd be very aware of. There's Iblis and Peaks. And, real cool stuff that I look now and think, how the hell did we get away with that sort of stuff? And I always like going fast in anything I'm in. Like, whether it's a bike, which is a bit more dangerous, a car or scooter or whatever, I just like going fast.
Have you been picked up by anybody? I think you were part of Red Bull at one stage, weren't you? No? I can't remember.
I am a Red Bull... Red Bull,
there's a lot of stories going around about JP guys. I'm not going to lie.
I hit up Red Bull. They give me drinks, but I've just changed my LinkedIn title to Red Bull brand ambassador because I noticed they don't have enough business people, and they should, and I am one. So they let me get away with it. But I've always been into cars, and I couldn't afford it. And Dad never paid for me to do any form of car racing. He hated it.
Bloody Roger.
Yeah, it cost me a Formula One career. If you're listening to this, Dad, you cost me a Formula One career. Evidently, when I could start to afford to race, I got into the prototype series, and I love the prototype series.
And you did well in that, I hear, as well. You can boast about yourself.
I don't want to brag about it, but two-time Australian world prototype champion.
There we go. Pat on the back.
In the APS. So yeah, they call me two-time down
two-time.
Which was cool. And then last year it was almost won again, which Macros should have been kicking himself. It didn't pan out. Lost by a couple of points. I think I finished second, but I just love it. I love the group of people that we race with. I love these cars. They go faster, a lot faster than GT cars, a lot faster than V8 supercars. For bang for buck, they're value for money.
On cars.
Yeah.
I hear you have an awesome Hot Wheels collection. Every time I watch a podcast, first thing my son picks out in the background is.
Yeah, I do mix cars up there. Yeah, I've got.
How many have you got?
I have thousands.
Oh, really?
I'm building a new place at the moment, so I'm looking for 22,000 Hot Wheels cars. So I'm back on the collection.
So do you go out and just buy them when you're walking around, say Kmart or whatever, or you get them?
It's a terrible habit.
I reckon, it was a couple of years ago when you contacted me about a watch through a mutual friend?
It was. I've been knocking around for a bit, but never was a watch guy.
So what happened? How did this?
Well, I just become rich.
You were just going to different events and everybody was wearing something cool but you.
I like the idea of a watch. I like the history behind them. I think that's really cool. But I funneled everything into car racing, and I never was really into it. And then I didn't realise how much watches were. And I was like, God damn it! No wonder I haven't been doing this. But like every other numpty, tried to get his name on a list to get a fucking Rolex, and then you wait years like a leper. And then evidently, I then bought. Do you want to know what my first watch was?
Yeah, please.
Yeah, it was a Rolex. It's gold and
Sea Dweller.
Sea Dweller.
43 mil.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, one of those, and I liked it.
It was cool. It was cool. It suited you very well.
I freaking liked it, and it's Drake colours.
Ah, there
gold
we go. That's
and black. Right. And I was like, okay, I wore it on special occasions. I tell you, there's I think 3 things that I bought that were like, this is my present to myself.
Yeah.
720 McLaren.
Yeah.
A pair of Christian Louboutins with spikes all over the front of it. And I bought that Rolex. And they were the 3 toys I bought myself. And I still wear them now, like, fucking proud. Every time I put those Christian Louboutins on, the chicks love it too. Like, don't get me wrong. They go, oh, red soles. Yeah, look at the spikes. Don't fuck with me. And, you know, I just, every time I wear the watch, and I sold the 720. So me and a mate from Citrus. Yeah. So I forgot to tell you, that 720 bright orange, I got the number plate Citrus. And I sent it to Brad, and he goes, you're mad. So evidently Brad went halves with me in the second car, so we shared the 765 LT,
nice.
Which is
fast car, super fast.
Ridiculous. And that's lime green, so it's still called Citrus.
Yeah, I like that. That's good.
But it's now called Rocket Ship, so better name for it.
Rocket Ship?
Rocket Ship, yeah. So evidently the Rolex was my first watch, and I've still got that.
But why Rolex? Like, was that that isn't the brand that got you most excited.
I'll tell you why. I really like that look, that two-tone look.
You like that the most?
Yeah, and I saw it, well, I didn't see it anywhere, but when I saw it, I was like, okay, this is actually for sale. Yeah. And I go, okay, I need to make a decision on it. As for me, that was a big purchase. That was a big deal. It was a big deal.
Yeah.
And
I remember trying to get you over the line with it because it was like, 20-something thousand, and you were like, I don't know.
I said, can you take 20 grand off?
Yeah, I was like, $800, take that. Yeah.
But it started a stupid obsession with watches.
So then we went on to IWC.
I love IWC.
Yeah, tell me why. Obviously, connection with AMG, sports cars.
Yeah, so look, what's the time?
So what do you got?
I've got the Petronas AF1 IWC. I don't know. You probably
take it off for us so we can show the guys. Thanks.
Probably needs a clean. You should have cleaned it for me.
Don't worry.
So I got this watch.
JP's IWC, guys.
Yeah. So I love this watch just for the record. This watch really does it for me.
Full titanium, huh?
I like the colour. I love the look underneath it all. I love the fact that it works. A lot better than my Casio at the moment. But this watch here, what I did really blow my mind with was I got this watch, and there was a story behind it because I originally there was an IWC Hot Wheels watch.
IWC or tag?
Nah, it was an IWC Hot Wheels watch that came out with a limited edition Hot Wheels car, but it was made out of silver, and you got the car with the watch. They made 50 in the world.
That was it, yeah.
And I'm like, Michael, I can't get it. Michael being useless. I'm like, bloody hell, I'll get it myself. So then realised couldn't get one, and then I grabbed my brand man actually, I said, I've got to send this letter in and blah, blah. So I sent him photos of me standing on my Hot Wheels wall, like being real cool, articles out of the paper, a whole lot of links to, show how cool I was. And they went, mate, sorry, can't get them. Like literally, they were saying, no deal. And I went, okay, had a crack.
They rang me after you did that.
Did they?
Yeah, because they're like, is this JP guy for real? And I'm like, yeah, you need to get him one. Like, he's a serious collector. I remember making the phone call to like the GM for you.
So that's even funnier because I was like thinking, oh, well, I gave it a crack, had a swing. I saw one come up for sale. It was like, it was either 100 or 300,000. It was something stupid. And I went, oh, well, missed it. And then, I don't know, about 2 months later, someone at work goes, oh, you got a package from IWC. And I was like, package from IWC? Oh, so that's what they said. Oh, we can't get you that. So we can't get you that watch.
But we can get you.
But we can get you this. And I was like, okay. And you said, well, you can't get it in the shop. You have to only get it online.
That's right. When they first released it, yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, okay. I like the look of that. I like Formula One. And I thought, yeah, why not? So I got this watch. And then not long after I got this, I get a message from the head office saying, I got a package here from IWC. And I'm thinking, how cool is this? They've accidentally sent me 2 fucking watches. Right? I'm straight away thinking, nothing to see here. And I was like, yes, I've got to have another watch. They've sent it to me. And then I get this, and this, if you want to know why I love IWC, this is it.
This is the special touches you guys do.
So IWC gave me this cool looking, I don't know, go to there. A cool looking, I don't know what it is. It looks like a watch, titanium.
How they're heating the metal.
And then, do you want to read us the
I'll read it
personalised message? Can you read it?
Dear Mr. Drake, a very warm welcome to the IWC family. Congratulations on your new pilot's watch. Chronograph 41 edition, Mercedes AMD Petronas Formula One team. We hope you enjoy this beautiful IWC timepiece for years to come. Enclosed is a unique piece of bodywork, hand cut from Lewis Hamilton's 2020. No shit. Sincerely yours, IWC Australian team.
So I'm like, what the hell? This is cool. It's handwritten. It's IWC. I've just cleaned it so it'll look better for your camera.
Looks a bit special now. A bit more special. Okay.
And then, do you want to do this unboxing there? Because it's actually how it comes.
No, do it here. Do it here.
So, but you can't see it. Well, you can. It doesn't bother me. So here.
I'll put it under the camera.
Yeah. So then this here is, so it comes in this pretty little box, which you can have a look at. And it's a plaque with a piece of Lewis Hamilton's undercarriage cut out. Now.
Oh, that is so cool. Hey.
It's pretty cool.
Have a look at this.
Yeah, I think you're not very good with that camera.
I'm working on it, man. Like, it's a work in progress, mate.
But that there, you put it on sideways, you can see. So they've cut that out. They've cut that out of the car. He did with the championship, and I was like blown away. Like I was like, I remember ringing you and going, "Is this normal?" I
couldn't believe it. No, I don't think so.
And I was like, you know what? I fucking love IWC, and evidently, IWC has become. I've got a couple of IWCs now. I've got the carbon. I think it's an AMG watch. I'm trying to stick to car stuff.
Yeah.
Because stuff's just too hard. Like there's too much. So if I just stick to some knitting, like I only Pinot Noir red, I might know something about it instead of knowing about Shiraz and Cabernet and all this other stupid stuff. So, evidently, this little piece was why I love IWC. I love the personal touch. And for someone in customer service, that blew my mind
That's
away.
A whole other level. Yeah, IWC do some fantastic stuff, mate. They really do. They hand out cufflinks. They do some really good things with
Well, they haven't sent me any cufflinks.
Oh, there we go.
Or another watch. But that's a little touch. And that was like, I was like, oh, this watch thing's pretty cool. So that sort of started a bit of a thing.
So where to from now? What would if I said to you, hey, another drop in your bank account of citrus money, and you're going, I'm going to spend this on a watch. What are you spending it on?
Now,
because we've discussed RMs before, I reckon.
I do like the RMs. I do. I hate how stuff's a bit too hard to get. It's annoying.
But that adds to some of
No, it doesn't. It makes me annoyed.
You just want to walk in. You just want to say, "Here's $500,000. I want to take the watch out the shop."
Yes, it's all fugazi. Like
smoke and mirrors.
Rolex. You walk in. I've been doing it on purpose now. I haven't found one. I found Dubai. They had some you had to pay more and above because people owned them.
Yeah.
But what two? I mean, I picked up one of the tagged Super Mario Brothers.
Yeah, they're cool.
Yeah.
They were limited edition.
Yes, they were one of something, 3,000.
Yeah.
And then, this is a good story. This is about watches.
Tell me.
Another amazing story. So my driving coach, Garnet Patterson, just got
Who's a legend, by the way.
He is a
Shout out to
dead
Garnet.
set legend. And if someone famous is watching this, this bloke needs a watch.
Well,
alright?
he's telling me some guy on his team or something has a Paul Newman Daytona, and he said he's going to take a photo and send it to me. So I'm still waiting on that photo. All right, Garnet.
Well, he knows more about watches than anyone I know. In fact, I bought him a tag Senna for winning the championship with me.
Yeah.
So I gave him a watch. So it was pretty. I thought that was cool. He loved it because he loves his watches. But he was in Dubai because he's always flying backwards and forwards, driving. And he rings me and he goes, "Oh, you won't read about it. I'm in a tag shop." And a bloke had rung, and they had one of the Tourbillon or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
Tourbillon Mario,
Super Mario,
thing,
yeah.
and has cancelled. And I went, buy it.
I'll take it.
Yeah, and he goes, you reckon? And he's on the phone. He goes, oh, can I buy that? And they're like,
who are you?
sure.
But
yeah, sure. So I was like, oh shit, and I have to buy this. And I don't know how
He's
much.
paid taxes on it too, getting it into the country.
Yeah, that too.
So you just leave it in the box? You just keep it in the box at home, or you actually wear the thing?
I don't wear it, but wait, I got the cheaper one that I wear all the time.
Yeah, sure.
And then he's like, oh, okay, well, they want me to pay for it now. And I said, I'll give him my credit card. No, they won't take your credit card. So I'm like, oh, shit. So I'm on the phone. He goes, I've got to go get a flight. And it's like, oh, hectic. And I go, crazy Carl. He lives in Dubai.
Crazy Carl.
And I rang up my mate, Carl. And I said, mate, by any chance, are you near this tag shop in Dubai? And he's like, this one? He was so hungover. He was at his office at the tag shop.
Downstairs.
Was in front of him. And I said, are you for real? And he goes, no shit, mate. I'm so fucking hungover. I have not moved from this office. And I said, mate, can you go buy that watch? He goes, sure. And he went down and bought the watch for me.
What a story. That is cool, man. That is cool.
This is all because of a freaking watch. They do bring lots of entertainment. I do.
They do.
I do enjoy it. I love it. Oh, do you want to know? That was probably my coolest get. Like, you know, and I don't like buying stuff on the auctions and.
We got to be careful because there's so many fakes and.
Really, even if
a lot
they
of them don't even.
Yeah,
I'll buy
if they tell me it's real.
Yeah, it depends who's authenticating it.
Okay.
A lot of them don't come. You know what I can't handle? The auctions, and they're like, "Oh, this has come from a stolen acquisitions," or you know, like every drug dealer around has had it, and then the next minute it's been confiscated by the police, and we're going to auction it. I'm like, I don't want a drug dealer's watch, man.
You know your shit about watches. That's what I really like. And, you know, I've directed lots of people to go get watches from you and they all end up fucking broke and walking out buying 2 watches because you get so fucking scammed on the way. And I say he knows his stuff about watches. Go speak to him because you're more than happy to have a chat.
Always. Come see me anytime, guys.
Whether someone like that big bloke that used to work for us and I didn't realise he was just a store manager and he wanted to buy himself a nice Rolex, I think.
That was a Steel Sea Dweller, that one.
Yeah.
The red one.
Yeah, and he
I don't remember faces, but I remember watches.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
It's true.
And he was a giant. I don't know, I haven't seen him for a while, but you know, I think that first process of buying your first watch is pretty cool. And I think if someone gets that experience of buying the first watch, I think it's really special because they're not just watches, obviously, and they're actually pieces of history, pieces of art.
Yeah, and they're the piece of jewelry that a guy can wear without feeling self-conscious. You know, we're going to rock around big gold bracelets and stuff like that, but putting on a nice watch, you stand a little bit taller, you feel a little bit more special.
I would agree with you on that. In fact,
you need one of these, I think.
I do. That looks pretty flash.
What's a Daytona?
What is it?
The Daytona Racing.
Oh, don't talk to me about Daytona.
This is what JP needs, guys.
It looks a bit. What's so good about this?
Well, it's probably. They say it's the hardest or one of the hardest Rolexes to get.
I'll buy it off you now.
I'm sure you could.
Look,
but it looks
feels
good on you.
Good.
It feels good, yeah.
I mean,
into cars.
Just grew a few inches.
Not in height.
It looks cool.
Yeah.
It's a bit plain.
It is. I mean, it is.
I like colour.
Yeah, well, that's where IWC come in, don't they? They do a lot of stuff with colour.
Even their latest.
That pops. From here, that just stands out.
Yeah, and when you're watching Formula One, like Toto's IWC looks baller. I don't know what sort it is.
Yeah.
But it pops on screen. It looks really cool. I like this.
I've been watching Drive to Survive.
Yeah. Well, you'll see
all the RMs on there.
Yeah, that's why is RM selling out? That's the hard-hitting question I want to ask your viewers there.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it's they do major sponsorship with all these brands, and now Tag Heuer's taken over Formula One.
Yeah, so Rolex is gone.
Yeah, I heard
so
a big
that's
bite.
this year.
Yeah, yeah. So Tag Heuer now major sponsors.
Do you think it's going to tick the same?
Do you know what? They've always been into car racing. Always.
Yeah, they have.
For over 100 years. So
I got a story about tags.
well, he is.
So I wanted to go down this car thing, and it was I found this bloke that was selling this Tag Heuer, and it was a Joe Sefrat 50th year anniversary.
A vintage one.
Yes.
Nice.
And I bought that.
That's a cool watch.
It is a cool watch. I thought it was the real one, but it wasn't.
It was a fake.
No,
it was a real one.
It's a real
You thought
one.
he owned it.
Yeah. But then I realised he died in a Formula One crash. So
I remember when
that
those
would
came
be pretty
out.
special.
They were special. Everybody wanted that watch.
Well, it was hot. I love it. Silver, full silver.
Blue, black.
Yeah, and it's got.
Or you got the red. No, you got the blue.
It's got the buttons. No, it's.
On the other side.
Yeah, it's got the
Yeah.
buttons on the other side.
Yeah.
And I was like, why has it got the buttons on the other side? So because when they were racing, they could smash it and get their time.
How cool is that? Do you use any of your watches when you race, or now obviously it's you
Just
don't
to
need
look,
them?
just to look cool.
Just to look cool, yeah.
What's the time? Like, no. That was my the step into F1. Then I tried to get from the Tag blokes. They've just recently bought out a box with all the F1.
Yeah.
And I tried to get one. They said, no, impossible.
Never
can't
gonna get it.
I'm like, see? And I'm just not on it enough, like, to be hunting down. I'm a casual buyer. Like, I see something I like. I just can never pick the right watch for my wife. She just doesn't like the things I find of her.
You buy some gifts for her, don't you? And she only likes to wear her Amiga.
Yeah. Well, I got to tell everyone this one. I want to know what people think. Rose gold, white face Daytona.
That's a nice watch. That's a special watch. Heavy watch, but cool.
Pretty.
Yeah.
Like,
But she wears a
"Babe."
Constellation every day.
And
Her go-to watch is an Amiga Constellation.
Yeah, that's her go-to. Yeah, and I was like, babe, look how pretty. Not enough bling.
And recently you bought her a Panerai.
Oh,
That didn't happen.
I
That's
know.
coming back, guys.
That's coming back.
Nice watch too. Moon phase, 38 mil. Was a good watch.
I like it, but she didn't want it. And then I recently bought a Panerai.
Yeah.
Singapore F1.
Oh, white doll.
Yeah,
Yeah.
love that watch. And
Colour strap. You put an orange one or a green one?
Orange?
Orange, yeah.
orange, blue, green. And that's a very nice watch. In fact, I was going to say it's right up there with my favourite because I like the look of it. It's a really cool looking, I don't know how big it is.
44 mil. Awesome watch though.
Yeah, that's cool. I like that watch.
Made for Italian naval divers back in the 1950s.
Yeah, well, that's what I thought when I bought it.
Yeah.
I was
Just
sort of
jump on
doing
a
a lot
pig
of diving and then squash some tomatoes and stuff. Like, that's what I was thinking. Come straight to mind. But I got that watch. It's your fault, Jamie. I think I was waiting for him while he was looking at something, and then got that. But yeah, I've got a few. No, I wouldn't say too many, but I've filled up the thingy, and they're all really different for me. That's what I really like. But I do have a real liking to the IWC because of that touch. Was like, you know what? I don't know who this guy is.
Quinton's a friend of mine.
Is he like in Australia?
Yeah, he's like the general manager of IWC for Australia.
That to me, that's a great touch.
Yeah.
I don't recall Rolex sending
And handwritten too, not typed, handwritten, which is even more special.
No, that's the whole part is the handwritten. I tried to do a couple of handwritten things, and then I had trouble reading my own writing, and I was like, well, the person getting this ain't got no chance of reading it. So that's my little take on it. I mean, yeah, do I know heaps about watches? Absolutely not. I pick the watches on how they look. And I think, okay, if I like the look of it and can get one, then I'll make a decision on whether I can actually purchase it. Because that's how I purchase them. I'm trying to stick to Formula One stuff, trying to stick to car stuff.
Well, we've got Watches and Wonders coming out in 2 weeks.
What's Watches and Wonders,
in
mate?
Switzerland. So it's where all the new watches are being released, and I'm heading over. So you can bet you're going to be number 2 on my speed dial.
What
when
a crock.
when they release some new IWCs.
So I'll tell you what I don't like on watches. Is that any
go
good?
on, please.
The tag with the square thing. Now,
The Monaco.
I'm trying to like it.
It's a cool watch, man. It is really good. It's one of their like flagship models.
I feel sorry for Max Verstappen.
Why?
He only gets tags.
I know, he wants the RM so bad.
I would go to Ferrari just to get an RM.
Oh, no.
Like, I would go, okay, I'm Lewis Hamilton out of here. I'm going from Mercedes. I would do that just to get an RM. I wish I was as cool as Max Verstappen.
So, well, it's about time you've been on the show. Thanks for being with us, JP.
No
I really
worries.
appreciate it, mate.
Thank you.